I can do that, in fact.
Reena, you alive?
Okay. Yeah. So I think there was some technical issue. So we are back again, and ma'am has joined us. So without wasting much time, ma'am, over to you. You can continue from where we actually
Yeah,
stopped.
yeah. I was just saying that I had these thoughts in my mind, and I had collected all the information that I wanted to share. And after that, I thought instead of just giving a little speech, it's better to have some information back up. Therefore, I was able to. Can you hear me? The screen is going off. So I was able to get some
Ma'am, you continue. We can hear you.
research, like some ideas from all different people who are out there, to give us some ideas. So I had referred and made it like a little mini research paper, like, yeah. So can we have the first slide, which will show us the outline of the paper or outline of this talk?
Yes, ma'am. Sure, sure.
Could you hear me? I think I was stuck there. Hello? Hello, could you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you. I'm sharing this your PPT.
Yeah, the first slide, please. A brief outline. Yes, I hope it is clear for reading, but otherwise I'll just read out those brief outline of 9 points. So one is a basic quote on to shine out as gems through education. The second point is definitions on universality and pertaining to education. A brief review of personal experience abroad, as mentioned already, just a brief information because I really cherished that experience. Then the fourth one is reaching out to the peoples in very many different ways, how we can do it. And the next one, values-based education, um, conviction to bring out a change, then integral education model, then we have engaging learners, a little broad spectrum where we can choose the ideas, what we want to practice or how we want to help others. The last one is conclusion. So next slide, please. Yes, here you see there's a quote and there are little mineral stones and jewels. So you might wonder what is it doing with the education, because um, it's not an advertisement or anything of these gems or the jewels, but in other words, it is an advertisement for the virtues that are lying within us as minerals, and they are being cherished, purified, and cherished, and form one's character. So I just want to read this text, this quote actually. Regard man as a mine rich in gems of inestimable value. Education can alone cause it to reveal its treasures and enable mankind to benefit therefrom. So, this is the quote that which is very beautiful to say that, you see, for example, let us think that there are great big mines of diamond, gold, and silver, and there are these miners who go there and find some stones which are covered completely with mud and rough thing, but inside that there is gold, diamond, emerald, silver. So these things, for example, what they do, they take this piece of stone and then they send it for purification, cleaning, processing, and polishing. Then after that, we have this goldsmith or diamond smith who prepares these beautiful ornaments with his craft, you see. And then after that, what happens? Then someone has to wear it. And this is not just here in my home, in my community, in my neighborhood, in my country, but all over the world, people wear these beautiful ornaments, which are prepared from these rough stones, mineral stones. So, therefore, in the same way, our the character, that is the gems or the values that are God given for us within our heart, within our mind, they are there, but we have to take time to recognize them, bring them out, and polish them so that they could shine as beautiful gems. Yeah. So now I just want to give you a little simile or kind of a reference to those words which are mentioned in this disruptive education training movement by Dr. Sunita Gandhi. And we have this quotation which says, "Education is the seed that generates the future course of humanity and global development." Okay, yes, thank you. And then we have here the first quotation regard man as mine rich in gems, and the second one. So I just made a little similarity of certain words which would be reflected. So the first one is the raw stones of gold and diamonds. The raw stones could be like a seed, and mineral stones being purified is like the seed that dies and generates and becomes life. And the beautiful ornaments that are formed later are like the future course of humanity. The humanity has a long way to go, but step by step, it is getting purified and it's getting better. Then we have the other last part of it, the ornaments used globally. So they are not used just by one person or one family or one country. They are used everywhere. So this, I thought, global development being achieved is what her Dr. Sunita Gandhi's ideal in this disruptive education. So now I would like to go to the explanation or the dictionary meaning of universality. Please, the next slide. Next slide, please. Yes, thank you. So we know when we say universality, we can think that, yes, we know this, the meaning, the word we know. But there are many different ways that we can look at this word universality. So first is that the quality or state of being universal. Okay, that's it. But what does it mean? It exists everywhere and it involves all the people. It involves everyone. Then another, relation, extension, or applicability to all. That is universal character or range of knowledge or interest. So that's another understanding. Then another one is comprehensively broad and versatile. So it's not just narrow, it's not stipulated to one spot or country. The meaning is very, very broad. So then the word universal, the quality of involving or being shared by all people or things in the world or in particular group. Okay, so any particular group. Then another meaning is something that is universal affects or relates to every part of the world or the universe. The quality of involving or being shared by all people. So this is the other understanding we have. And also we would like to see the meaning of education, because we know the meaning, but still we need to get into some kind of a relation with universality and of education. So it is the act of process of imparting or acquiring general knowledge, developing the powers of reasoning and judgment, and generally preparing oneself or others intellectually or mature life. Okay, so this is the general meaning of universality of education, which will be covered during this little presentation. Yeah. So here I just wanted to share a few things about my personal the experience, like so education that we are giving or receiving is not restricted to one particular area. It's not narrowed down, but it is widened and broad. So my personal experience of imparting this education through English language teaching abroad for 19 years, as mentioned. So the meaning was to reach out to others, to reach beyond oneself and one's own nation. So the goals that I had in my mind were that to have an integral approach, value-based learning-based education, values-based education or learning, then to inculcate a feeling of universality and global vision. You see, this is the idea. So then the main goal was to help students to help themselves. That's what I felt the the great thinking is that not that we teach others, but we help students to help themselves, to take up challenges and to come out of their shyness or inhibition, to learn this great universal language, English language, of course, connecting with anyone around the world. In addition, imparted the great human values and internal qualities of life. So this was one of the main goals. So my goal and desire had taken fruition with those opportunities that came in front of me, especially stepping into foreign countries. So 1987 to 89, when I was in France, I had this opportunity to meet these groups of youth in the schools. And we could go and we could talk to them. We could invite other visitors, guests of other countries in Paris, that we could visit, we could invite them to be able to share their views and their country, about their country, their culture to the people, to the young students, so that they would be able to understand what is beyond their own country. Because those days, France or Europe was more closed within their own nation, you see. So that helped, that was a great help. And apart from that, I was able to organize some informal English classes for adults, which, you see, those days actually the people did not really care for speaking English in France. But slowly they began, um, and so they themselves took interest in order to learn this language. So that means what? There is a connectivity. They want to connect themselves to the other parts of the world. So the next one was 1997 to 2005. I was in Bishkek and Kyrgyzstan, where also there was this opportunity to teach this English language in smaller groups. But other than that, in the American University of Central Asia, teaching the classes to the students, be it composition, be it language classes. But the whole emphasis was for them to be able to go out of themselves, to really break their shell and then to come out and to go beyond their own nation or their own ideals and nation, and then to other countries. That's why many people came even to just to practice English and to give exams like TOEFL and IELTS, and they could go abroad, you see. So the next, these opportunities also gave me a chance to write or prepare small little research papers, which I presented in 2004 and 5. Therefore, that was also a great experience, like reaching out, going beyond my own country and the country where I was working. Then the next experience was from 2006 till 2013 was the in the two major cities of Tianjin and Zhuhai in the south of China, north and south of China. The teaching experience for the university students in these major cities created a goal for those diligent and hardworking students who set their aims at integral education, exhibited unity, perseverance, determination, or outward goals to broaden their vision. I could perceive the innocence, kindness, and pure hearted eagerness for achievements in those students during those 7 years spent there. Yeah, this was very, very special. They were very pure hearted students were excellent because they were hardworking, and so they want to achieve something. That was their um, goal. And there I had this opportunity to write a paper and present as auxiliary international language, which is English. And so I could elucidate the purpose, the goal of this language, which is connecting us to the whole world. So overall goal of educational experience, be it through teaching English language, be it French language by necessity, or these were through integral, creative, and intuitive approaches of language learning, and above all, a values-based teaching learning process that any student, young or adults, felt that that element of broader vision beyond themselves as partisans of an universal exploration of life. So this is very, very special experience for me there. And that's why I could carry it back to my country, to us here, and where I tried my best to give this broader vision and letting our students also think beyond themselves and their own um, narrow selves. So here I would like to go to the next slide, slide 6. So there we have the little next slide, please. And so we have here our education, learning experiences, and thought patterns as well are not to be limited to just self, I and me, but for an outward move that is beyond our little world towards the universe. So this is the main idea and the purpose of it. So to move beyond our little world, how? How is the question here? So we could say move beyond. So there is, if we are reaching out to the minds of other people through intellect or intellectually, reaching out to the psyche, emotional feelings, reaching out to the hearts that is spiritual and divine, and reaching out to society, that is all kinds of people without any prejudice, without any inhibitions, we go out of ourselves to be able to share, maybe to help, maybe, or even to go beyond, to extend our um, ideas, of course, let us say. Okay. Then the environment, definitely. Now we have this situation in this crisis. Now, because no pollution at all, nature is pure and clean. So this is our responsibility also, always, to be able to keep our nature pure. Okay, so this reaching out, I want to take a few examples of, like for example, in this crisis, how the different countries, of course, different countries, even in India, we are doing a lot about how we are able to teach our students or even form little groups to teach the subject or the language. But I just found the recent examples of pictures and explanation about how the three different countries, they have made efforts to be able to do pick up some educational change in this crisis. So the next slide, please, with the picture, 7. So the deep bonds in this picture, it says the deep bonds of friendship that participants in the English Corner program in Vancouver, Canada, have developed are proving to be a source of vitality and resilience during this challenging time. This is an example to show how it creates the bond and fellowship among people of different nations. So here there are different people, different from different nations. They are learning English. Actually, this is an English corner which has been going on from several years. But at this time, how they are kind of bonded together. So it is explained that the past 15 years, this Baha'i-inspired program for English learners in Vancouver has brought together thousands of people to practice English skills by conversing with each other and sharing their insights on important social issues, not just English, but in English. But when you use different issues, when topics to discuss and to share,